What's going on, party people? I am back once again with a funnel video. I wanted to put this one together, and this is about what I would call the big, bad, ugly call book funnel, right? Now, a little bit about myself. My name's Noah Burton. You probably know that because you're seeing this from my Instagram or something, and I am responsible for a few millions of dollars sold online, primarily to pretty high level B2C prospects or sales reps. So people that aren't very easy to sell to and people that don't really trust you based on a couple Instagram ads, right? In my time, I've primarily used Instagram as the main front end acquisition channel. But a little bit about me that y'all probably don't know. I spent the last 5 years working in computer science besides, doing the sales stuff. So the way that I approach sales is the same way that I would approach, analyzing a computer system. And that's something that I'm actually going to make a video about on pretty soon here if y'all want to lower your IQs with me. But the same brain that made me good at being a software reverse engineer and all that stuff is the same brain that's helped me understand funnels a little bit and understand where buyer input matters the most in terms of their emotional buy-in and their buy-in into the funnel, right? Now, kicking all this off, the main problem with a call book funnel these days, and let me define a call book funnel real quick just before we jump too deep into this, because to me, a call book funnel is one thing. A call book funnel is a funnel where you're running an ad that says, book a call to talk to my team. And then in that, a setter reaches out, tries to qualify them, and then they get on a closing call, right? In my head, that's a call book funnel. If you're watching this and you don't think that's a call book funnel, that's fine. I don't disagree with you. That's just what I think of when I think of a call book funnel. But the problem with most call book funnels, especially in the info product space where you're relying on your personal brand to sell, things like that, is we live in what's called a no trust economy, right? Is what I call a no trust economy. To think about it this way, in 2008, who are the people that nobody trusted anymore, right? Nobody wanted to go talk to the real estate people. Nobody wanted to go to the banks. Nobody wanted to go to these people that they view as the people who bankrupted them, that made their homes worth nothing, that foreclosed on their homes and everything. And it was a tough time to be, an active entrepreneur, somebody who was worth a damn when it came to like what you would consider old investment strategies, hedging your money against real estate, like mortgages and things like that, mortgage brokers, lenders, those people, the people who help with hard money, stuff like that. Like they lost so much trust because of events outside of them that they couldn't control. And in the online sales space, we have that happening right now because there's a lot of grifters, there's a lot of people that get on and they just have super terrible fulfillment and they have bad products that they still charge a lot of money for and they sell a lot of on the front end. And then they make these really just shisty contracts that basically make it to where you can't charge back on their product. They just kept your $8,000 because you signed and you didn't read the fine print, right? And you didn't know you were signing a Suge Knight deal with a douchebag creator. That's the economy that we live in the online space now, right? Now, some of y'all may know in January, I started helping folks out when it came to building what I would consider their nexus of trust, right? Helping people build up their social credit score and building brand value in terms of creating longevity through showcasing of results. And I feel that there is a way to do that in a call book funnel, right? Now, as of right now, this is what I just described, right? This is from cold traffic, boom, call is booked, setter confirms that call, pre-call resources probably go out, closing call happens, and then what ends up happening is there's a one call. Most of the time they don't one call close. You're probably sitting around like a 20 to 26% close rate one call, and then primarily you're going to sell on the back end, right? So some offers will make this a triage call, and then some of these will be a closing call instead, right? So very short funnel, right? But the actual cost of this funnel is going to be ridiculously high. You're going to spend a lot of money trying to make this funnel work, right? Now, this is my version of this funnel. Boom, from cold traffic, right? And we're going to go to the right in a second and show what I think is the absolute meta of call book funnels now. And it's going to be my own little secret sauce of autism. But this is a reworked version. If you don't want to change anything in your call book funnel, you just want to tweak things a little bit. I was talking to my good friend Griffin tonight, and you want to, I told him, what you want to do is you want to take your sandwich and you want to put one of those fancy toothpicks in it, right? And you know what fancy toothpicks I'm talking about. You go to a store or whatever, you buy a sandwich, you're like, it's just a sandwich. But then somebody puts in that dumb little toothpick that has the little red wrapping around the top, and you're like, whoa, this is a gourmet sandwich, dude. This is sick. I'm so happy I paid $17 for this sandwich. But if I take that toothpick out of it, you're going to look at it and say, I probably could have made that at home. You know? So what you want to do with your call book funnel, put a toothpick in it, right? Now, by putting the toothpick in it, you need to be strategic. So this is coming cold traffic, your call books in, right? This is the only caveat to this funnel, is that there is going to be no same day booking. There's going to be no next day booking. I refuse to believe the propaganda that somebody who books next day is going to, oh, dude, they're more motivated. They're going to be a buyer. That's the person who you want to be on the call with. No, I'm going to be honest with you. No, like 9 times out of 10, that's not the person that's going to buy, unless it's somebody who's been indoctrinated in the ecosystem already and they've spoken to somebody from the team. Like, I'm not looking at a next day book call and assuming that it's immediately going to close if they're coming from cold traffic or something like that. I'm going to say, oh, this guy probably wants more information, right? This guy probably wants more information. He's not going to close. So to mitigate that, what you're going to do is you're going to give yourself a 2, 3, 4 day buffer, whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever you can test and see what converts best. And you're going to still run this same little play right here, right? But you're going to have your setter engage. And whenever I say you're going to have your setter engage, there's a difference between engaging and confirming, right? Now, what your setter is not going to do is run just a typical discovery where your setter gets on the phone with them and says, oh, hey, man, I just want to make sure that you have enough money to get on this call with my closers so that we can both get a commission. No, that's not what you should do. That's not what your setter should do. Your setter should get on the phone and he or she should create a connection, right? Your setter needs to engage, and literally engage, needs to get engaged to your client. Your setter needs to get down on one knee and show the wedding ring and say, hey, this is our golden offer that you're going to get to talk about, right? We're going to go into holy matrimony together. You're going to sign a contract with my closer in a couple of days. And I just want you to see this, right? We're going to go through this little honeymoon phase right here after I get engaged with you. And you're just going to fall deeper in love with me now that you know that we're going to get married, right? So what that looks like is, instead of saying, hey, Mr. Buyer, my name's Noah from XYZ Offer. I just wanted to reach out and confirm that you got everything for your call coming up in a couple days. Okay, sweet, you did. And out of curiosity, what made you want to book the call? Oh, okay, you want to make more money. Well, that's awesome, man. I hope you have fun talking to John about that. That's not going to be your call. What your call is going to look more like is, hey, this is Noah from XYZ Offer. How are you doing today? You're doing great. Dude, that's amazing. Well, man, I just wanted to reach out. I know that you booked a call with John from our team. And what we like to do is, before people get on those calls, I'd love to learn a little bit about you. I want to hear about your goals and kind of where you're at with all that stuff right now, if you have a little bit of time to talk to me. Boom, they give you all their goals. You say, okay, dude, sick. I mean, what are you hoping to get out of the call? They tell you, right? And you're like, okay, sweet, man. Like, have you been trying to do all this stuff on your own? Or I guess kind of what would be the best angle for John to approach this from, so that he can really, make sure the information is relevant towards you? Oh, okay, you've struggled with XYZ problem. Well, sweet. I'm going to make sure that John knows that that's something that, he really needs to address on the call. And then your setter is going to go deeper and deeper and deeper. Your setting call shouldn't be 2 minutes to confirm the call. I'm going to waste your time on the phone a little bit, build a relationship. I've never seen how to call personally, whatever, as a setter, where the longer you talk to somebody, the worse it got, right? Unless they start asking you like belligerent questions that you can't sidestep, the longer that you're on the phone with a prospect before they get on the closing call, is going to increase your chance of closing that deal. I don't care what anybody says. You can watch this and disagree. And if you disagree with me, turn the video off. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Get in the trenches, test it, right? If you have a good setter, that's the caveat. If your setter is good and knows how to create a human connection through that phone, that's going to increase your likelihood of closing the call, right? Now, your setter has engaged. Your setter is making this person fall in love with the offer. And this is where your setter is going to indoctrinate them, right? Now, that's the key part of the setter, asking those questions about, okay, so what's like a specific thing that, John should talk about on the call? You're collecting data so that you can go to your little information database of videos and say, okay, this would apply to Mr. Buyer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have John send him a text message with this YouTube video, with this PDF file resource, with this, I don't know, deal calculator, whatever it may be. I'm going to have John send him this and say, hey, man, Noah let me know that you would want to talk about this on our call tomorrow. And I wanted to send you kind of like a sneak peek of what all this looks like. Here's this thing, right? And now they're like, oh, damn, dude, like this guy, not only did I talk to Noah and Noah was cool, now Noah went and told John about me, and John cares enough that he just gave me a free thing. I'm excited about this. I'm happy to do this, right? And then your normal pre-call stuff will go off and remind them about the call. And then the closer reaches out day of, whether it's via text message, they call them if they have a pretty open calendar and they say, hey man, I'm really looking forward to our call today. Boom, they get on the closing call and they collect cash, right? Now, what is the difference in this funnel and this funnel? Damn near nothing, except these 2 to 3 day buffers that you give yourself to warm people up as they're in your funnel, right? Because the number one thing that I see people do in call book funnels that slowly is starting to, trend downward, and they think, man, what's happening? Why can't I make money? It's because right here, this gap is too short. And this is the caveat to all of this, actually, unless you're selling something that is clearly ROI based, over time, this funnel is going to start to fatigue and deteriorate, and you're going to slowly start to dip with this, right? With this, even if you don't one call close in this call book funnel, you force somebody deeper into your ecosystem, and you're going to give yourself more at-bats later on because they've had such a warm welcome into your ecosystem, right? This person that was indoctrinated into your cold call booking funnel is not going to be somebody down the line that is more likely to close if you have a dog closer who's going in there and hitting their follow-ups, who's going and calling the closed lost deals and stuff like that. Those people are not going to be your buyers because they're not bought in. These people, you have a much higher chance of getting on a second, third, fourth call, whatever, because they're going to stay in the funnel because they care about being in the funnel and they like it. My bad, had a cough. These people like being in the funnel. These people have been introduced to your funnel and they've been treated with professionalism. Somebody cared about them. Another person cared about them so much that they gave them something for free. And then they had a call with them and, maybe logistically they couldn't figure out how to make it work at the time. Maybe the closer wasn't good enough at getting them over their fear or whatever, but they haven't had a bad taste in their mouth throughout the entire funnel, right? Now, if we go back up to this, the problem is that in a normal cold traffic call book funnel, you are suffering in the no trust economy because these people genuinely don't know anything about you in that cold call book funnel. They don't. They just know that they booked a call, somebody called them, they got on a call, they got some pre-call automation sent to them, and now this person that they booked a call with won't stop calling them every week, trying to follow up and set another date so they can close them. And you, as the business owner, as the sales manager, as the growth operator, you're telling your closer and your setter, hey, get them back on the calendar. They need to do this. They need to do this. That person doesn't want to get back on. That person's going to block the number from the CRM. They're going to block every number that tries to reach out to them because they're a deal, right? And they're not a deal just to you. They're a deal to themselves. They're looking in the mirror and they're saying, in that guy's funnel, I'm a deal. This person down here, even though to you, they're a deal, in the funnel, they've been treated like somebody who's been welcomed in to this grand idea from this random cold traffic ad. Somebody treated them nicely because they booked a call and they had a couple of days to sit and think about it, right? And you were sending them normal cadences of emails and texts in these days. You had normal conversation happen with your setter. You treated them the right way in this sales process. And then later on down the line, they said, you know what? I think it is time for me to take the risk, right? Now, what I think could be, a warmer version of this goes a little bit like this. Your ad opt-in, as opposed to going straight to call book, is you run an ad that shoots off free resource, a low ticket paid resource, or instead of your call to action being book a call with my team, it's, yo, click this link, go to my YouTube channel, or yo, click this link, go to my Instagram. At this point, this isn't a call book funnel, right? But we're going to track it and treat it like a call book funnel, because this is skipping making your setter do all this work. Running your funnel this way is going to basically allow you to bring them into your ecosystem and prioritize maybe where the setter should go, right? So from here, you're going to track your opt-in, right? And then from your opt-in, you're going to have three things happen. You're going to have retargeting go on, right? If you're, a high-level marketer or whatever, you're going to be shooting off short paying ads, right? And what I mean by short paying ads are like 20, 30-second clips where you address a pain point of the prospect and you run that, right? If you are a fitness coach, you're going to retarget them with quick little testimonial videos, whatever it may be, of somebody who's fat, who's not fat anymore. And you're going to end it and say, if you don't want to be fat, then check out my page. And then from here, they're going to be deeper in your funnel, right? If you don't want to be fat anymore, check out this YouTube video. They're going to be deeper in your funnel, right? And then on the other side of that, you're going to send them into an email flow, just because I think email is still valuable no matter what, because this is where you can really leverage just like blasting people data. Because people that read their emails, they care about data. So you can send them CSM statistics in here. You can say, dude, this is the average success rate of our clients. This is the average, amount of money that our clients make within 60 days or something like that. You can send that to your email list, and these people are going to care. The people that are going to open their emails are the people that are going to care about data like that. And then depending on what you do here, it'll go to a setter, right? Now, this setter is going to have a lot bigger list of these people to talk to. So maybe the conversation is a little bit different. Maybe this is a DM setter. Maybe this is a phone setter. Maybe this is a LinkedIn setter, a Twitter setter. If it's a low ticket paid community, this is a setter that you have sitting in a school community, a circle community, whatever it may be. This is a polymorphic setter. Polyamorous is not the word to use. I'm gonna pause this real quick and Google what that means. Make sure I didn't say something stupid. All right, guys, I messed up there. Your setter's not polyamorous. That's a sin. Polymorphic. My bad. All right, there you go. Hopefully you got a laugh out of that. But your setter takes a lot of forms right here, right? Ultimately, what your setter needs to do is indoctrinate them into your funnel, into your content. They need to go to the middle of the funnel. If there's one thing that you will notice as the theme of all of these videos that I make, is that you need to put people in the middle of the trust building area of your funnel, and they need to live there. Whether they live there for a day, a week, a month, a year, whatever, they are going to take up residency where you build trust at, and then you're going to book them. You're going to set up CTAs within your trust building content, then you're going to book them. You're going to have your setter use trust building content as the hook in conversations, as the linchpin, right? You're going to have your setters create the conversation around your resources as opposed to around your prospect, because your prospect gets talked to all the time. Your prospect understands that they're an idiot and they need to change something. But we're in 2025. Info has been going on for like 10 years now. They haven't made a decision already. Your prospect doesn't care about talking about themselves. Your prospect wants to see everybody else that's like them so that they can envision themselves in that. And then your setter needs to say, hey, man, you see that it's possible. Let's do it. I've shown you so many people that are just like you. Let's do it, because you can do it too. As opposed to just being like, yeah, man, I think it would make sense for you to try to dig yourself out of that hellhole that you're in, right? Do you think that makes sense? It's a bad way to approach your setting conversations. It gives you something to talk about in the conversation. It's like dating, right? You guys need to have a common interest before you try to go for the close, essentially. So from indoctrination, you book your call, normal stuff happens, pre-call, closing call, money. But this right here, I would almost consider this to be like a completely separate funnel than these two over here. If you guys remember, if these are the same viewers from my last video, I'm putting these all on one Miro board. But ultimately, this video is not to shit on the pre-call resources that you're sending. It's not to say that call book funnels are bad and will never work, because I think that ultimately a call book funnel is the quickest way for you to go from 250K to 500 to 750K. And then I think that no matter what, you need to run some kind of call book funnel to get to $1 million a month. I think everybody who's at like the big numbers, I feel like they have a call book funnel in some way, shape, or form, whether it accounts for the majority of their revenue or just a piece of their revenue. I think that everybody eventually graduates to one of these at scale whenever it makes more sense to hire a serious marketer to bring in an agency that can track the ops better and set everything up, or hire in a sales agency to do all this for you, right? It done for you, whatever it may be. But like I said, I'm not saying that call book funnels don't work, they're bad, anything like that. I think they're necessary, but I think that the biggest issue with call book funnels right now is that we live in an economy of no trust. And what I just outlined is how to create and force trust in your call book funnel and increase the close rate without increasing the ad spend, without increasing the amount of sales reps or decreasing the amount of sales reps you may have, without doing more sales training, without doing a lot of things. I guarantee that that close rate goes up because you implement this in your funnel, right? So my little CTA, I'm Noah Burton. If you want to see this system plugged into your business, into a team that you manage, or you just want to talk about sales theory with me, hit me up on Instagram. You came here from my Instagram, so you know it. But if you don't, it is NOAHHBURTON. And we can talk about whatever you may want to talk about, whether you just need a quick one-off, set of advice, or you need somebody to do this for your team. I'd love to have the conversation. But thanks for watching. God bless you guys and girls. I doubt there's any girls watching. But either way, have a good one.